Hi, I'm Jessica. Today we're going to work on improving your reading and your vocabulary. If you read magazines like Us Weekly or People or some other magazines, those are great ways to improve your reading skills and learn casual vocabulary. But I'm going to show you how you can use blogs, specifically Today Food blogs, to improve your reading and learn some great vocabulary words. Do you know what a blog is? A blog is on the internet. This is going to be a website that is an online journal or an informational website, and it's in an informal or conversational style. So it's like the blogger. Blogger is the person who is writing the blog, is talking to you. Because it's casual, you can learn some great casual vocabulary that we use not only in writing but also in speaking. Okay, we're going to look at two food blogs today. The first one is Gimme Some Oven. The recipe we're looking at is for healthier blueberry muffins. This is what it looks like. I'm going to read you what the blogger wrote. If you see at the top, this is Allie. She's the blogger of Gimme Some Oven. I'm going to read what she wrote. That way we work on your pronunciation, and then I'm going to go over some of the vocabulary after I read. You see right here, Happy Friday, sweet friends. Remember, blogs seem casual, like the person's talking to you. And a happy early Mother's Day to all of you beautiful moms out there. I hope that we all do our part to make you feel extra celebrated this weekend for the incredible, strong, loving, patient, hardworking, life-changing women that you are. And that you know how grateful we are for you and the zillion everyday, unseen, unglamorous, yet oh so important things you do to keep things rolling and to care for those you love. You all knock my socks off. And I so wish I could make you all a big brunch to say thank you for making this world such a brighter place. Just a quick shout out to all the moms out there. Heart you. So like Ali said, you make the world a better place. Being a mom is not easy. So if you are a mom, give yourself a pat on the back. Okay, let's start with the first word. Zillion. Do you have any idea what zillion means? It looks like million, but it's not quite million. It's with a Z, right? It's zillion. Zillion means an extremely large number. An extremely large but not exact number. For example, you might say, she spends a zillion hours on the computer. Here you're exaggerating. She doesn't spend a zillion hours, but you're using it to say that she spends a really large number of hours on the computer. The next casual language we're going to look at would be the phrase, keep things rolling. Keep things rolling. Rollin' is actually a reduction of rolling. Rolling, the G is just taken off here. That's why you see the apostrophe. Do you know what it means to keep things rolling? If you've heard keep the ball rolling, it has the same meaning. If you keep things rolling or you keep the ball rolling, then you cause an activity or process to continue. Keep, right? Continue, keep going. So if you keep things rolling, you keep things moving. You have it continue. So I might say, let's not stop. Let's keep things rolling. Let's keep going and learning more vocabulary words and phrases. The next one I want to point out is knock my socks off. Knock my socks off. This doesn't mean your socks are going to fly off your feet, but you can kind of think of it like that. If you knock someone's socks off, then it means to affect or impress someone in a very strong and favorable way. For example, maybe you made really delicious cookies and I ate them and I'm like, wow, these are so great. You knocked my socks off. You impressed me with your delicious cookies. Maybe you wrote an essay and it sounds so good it's like a native English speaker wrote it. I might say, you knocked my socks off with your essay. You can change my to any person that you want. You can say knock her socks off, knock his socks off, knock Jessica's socks off. Here, knock is a verb, So you can change it to past tense, knocked for past tense. You can change it to future or another verb tense too. Okay, let's keep reading. But instead, I'll have to settle for Zeal Internet and share a recipe that hopefully one of your loved ones might make for you sometime soon. Or one that you can make with those sweet littles of yours. Or one that we can all just share with anyone we love. Here, if you're running Z, she's saying Z like the old, here is like old, the old internet. And if you're wondering what is sweet littles, she's talking about sweet little children. Littles like little kids. Your little ones. Okay, let's keep going. Yep, I went with a classic. I made you some blueberry muffins, which blueberry muffins is a classic American recipe. Yep will be the same as saying yes. It's a casual way of saying yes. So yep, yep, yep. Even better, I made you some healthier blueberry muffins. Don't worry, no one will even be able to tell. Wink. Okay, there's nothing here I want to point out, so I'm going to keep going under the picture of the blueberry muffins. Let's look at this paragraph, and I'll talk about some of the good vocabulary words in here you should know. This is actually a recipe that I've been tweaking and experimenting with for a while now. Because I don't know about you, but I love blueberry muffins, like so much. But I always have such a guilty conscience after eating one of those enormous ones from the bakery that I'm pretty sure could take the place of 2 entire meals of calories. Yeesh! Not how these delicious breakfast treats are meant to be enjoyed. Okay, I'm going to start with tweaking. Tweaking here is going to be progressive form. Have been tweaking. Present, perfect, progressive. Tweak is the main verb, just the base form without the ing. Tweak is not a casual word, but I think it's good for you to know this one. Do you know what the verb tweak means? Okay, if you don't know it, it means to change something slightly in order to improve it. Think of it as making small adjustments to something. If you make muffins like this, or maybe you create another dish and it doesn't taste right, you need to change something slightly to make it taste better, or maybe have more flavor or have more sugar. You're tweaking it. So she said she's been tweaking and experimenting with this recipe. So she's trying to perfect it and make it taste better. Guilty conscience is not casual, but I think this is also good for you to know what it means. If you have a guilty conscience, then this is when you have a bad feeling caused by knowing or thinking that you have done something bad or wrong. If you eat a lot of sugary food, you might feel bad after, right? You might have a guilty conscience, especially if you exercise before you ate all of this sugary or fattening food. You might say, oh, I feel so bad. I shouldn't have eaten that. So you might have a guilty conscience. If you cheat on a test, which hopefully you don't do, you might feel guilty about it and have a guilty conscience. If you see yeesh here, yeesh is used to express disbelief, irritation, or disgust. You can think of it like also yikes. People will use yikes as well for disbelief and also surprise. When she says yeesh, not how these delicious breakfast treats are meant to be enjoyed. She's talking about the amount of calories, like the disbelief or the annoyance of that. Next paragraph. So I've lightened them up, and after batches and batches of testing, I think they're actually to the point now where I would totally prefer these to the epic ones from my coffee shop next door. And now that's saying something. Okay, if we keep going underneath the pictures, and you're going to notice for blogs, bloggers use a lot of pictures. If it's a travel blog, then you'll see travel pictures. If it is a tech blog, you're going to see some tech-related pictures. If it's a beauty blog, then you'll see makeup and beauty photos. So photos and writing, those are common in blogs. Okay, let's look at this paragraph right here and read it. They're made with white whole wheat flour, my favorite baking swap for all-purpose refined flour. They're naturally sweetened with honey, although I did use a little powdered sugar in the glaze if you want that. And they're chock full of tons of fresh blueberries. You can use frozen ones if you'd like, just don't de-thaw them first. Although heads up that their color tends to bleed more, so you might have more purple bluish muffins. Still delish. Winking face again. The first word we're going to look at would be swap. Swap. Do you know what this verb means? So here she's actually using it as a noun, my favorite baking swap, but swap can also be a verb. If you use it as a verb, it means to trade or exchange things. So she's swapping regular flour for white whole wheat. Some people just use regular flour, some people like to use whole wheat flour. The next one I want to point out is chocked full. Chocked full. If something is chock full of something, then it's crammed or full to the limit. If you see full here, you can think full to the limit. So it's chock full of tons of fresh blueberries. There's a lot of fresh blueberries crammed into there. She gives the reader a heads up. Do you know what it means, heads up? If you give someone a heads up, then you're giving an advanced warning of something. So she is warning you in advance that you could have purple bluish muffins if you use frozen blueberries because it will bleed. The color from the frozen blueberry will change your muffins into looking like a purple or purple bluish muffin. So she's giving you a heads up, an advanced warning. Lastly, here we see delish. Do you know what delish means? In speaking, you might hear people say, wow, this food is delish. It means delicious. Delish is just casual and shorter for delicious. Under here, if you see, just bake everything up to fluffy, soft perfection. And we're just going to look at a little bit more. And while they're in the oven, feel free to whip up a simple little almond milk glaze if you want. I made mine using shelf-stable Almond Breeze Original Unsweetened Almond Milk, which I've been getting in the habit of stocking in my pantry this past year. So convenient to keep on hand. But you can also make the glaze using their refrigerated almond milk. Here we have the phrasal verb whip up. A phrasal verb is a verb plus preposition. Whip up means to prepare something, such as a meal, very quickly and often easily. We normally use whip up when we're talking about food, but you could use it for some other things too that you quickly are preparing or creating, and it's easy for you to do. Right here, if you see on hand means in stock or available immediately. If you have almond milk on hand, then you have it in your refrigerator or in your cabinet. It's ready for you to use. It's available right away. Okay, and I'm going to stop there. There's just a little bit more that she talks about right there, and then you're going to finally see the recipe. So if you want to try and make this recipe for healthier blueberry muffins, go ahead and try it out. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. This is the ingredient list and then the instructions or directions of how to make this recipe. Okay, on to the next food blog. This one we're looking at the recipe for what's called Quinoa chicken Parmesan. I know this word looks a little weird and some people don't know how to pronounce it correctly, but it's pronounced quinoa. Quinoa. If you don't know what is quinoa, this is a healthy grain that comes from South America. Chicken Parmesan is normally made with breadcrumbs, but this recipe is going to use quinoa as the crust instead, for the outside. If you see, this blogger explains it as, with an amazingly crisp quinoa crust, you'll never guess that this is actually so healthy and packed with tons of protein. The first phrasal verb I want to point out would be packed with. Packed with. Packed with means full of, containing a lot of a particular type of thing. The next word I want to point out is tons. Tons is casual for lots. So lots of protein here. Lots or very much, or very many. If you look under here, this will be a picture of the quinoa chicken Parmesan. And if we go down further, you're going to see she writes a little bit more. I had a random craving for chicken Parmesan the other night, so I set out to the kitchen to whip up my favorite baked chicken Parmesan recipe. But I quickly realized I was out of breadcrumbs, so I took a risk and tried out a quinoa crust instead. And boy, was I in for a treat. Here, craving is not a casual word, but it's a good word to know. Craving is a noun. The verb is crave. If you have a craving for something, this means you have a strong desire. You have a strong desire for something. Set out will be a phrasal verb. Set out means to start doing or working on something in order to achieve a goal. We have another phrasal verb in the same sentence, whip up. Hopefully you remember whip up because we just saw it on the Gimme Some Oven food blog. In case you forgot, remember this is to prepare something such as a meal very quickly and easily. Another phrasal verb, which you probably already know, is tried out. Tried is the past tense. So it should be try out if you want to use simple present or the base form. If you try something out, then you're testing something new or different to see whether it is suitable or pleasing. So here she's trying out a new recipe to see if it tastes good. Maybe you're going to go to a new restaurant, you're trying it out. You want to see if the restaurant is pleasing, if it serves delicious food, and if you want to go back there again. Here at the end of the sentence we have in for a treat. This is an idiom. We use this for saying that you know someone is going to enjoy something. For example, maybe you're going to your first Lady Gaga concert and your friend has already seen her perform and tells you, oh, you're in for a treat. The last two words that I want to point out are going to be underneath these pictures. They're actually not casual vocabulary words. They're real vocabulary words that you can find in the dictionary, but I think are very useful for you to know. Let's look at this last section here. I was definitely a bit skeptical about the use of quinoa, but it worked out so well. With a simple flour, egg, quinoa prep, the quinoa is baked to wonderful crispness right in the oven. And when you slather on that melted mozzarella and marinara sauce, you'll completely forget that this is actually completely healthy and nutritious. Here we have skeptical. This is a good word to know. This is an adjective. If you're skeptical, you have doubts about something. Slather here is going to be a verb. If you slather on, she's talking about mozzarella cheese, and marinara sauce is this red sauce, like you put on spaghetti. Slather means to cover something with a thick layer of liquid, cream, etc. So if you see on top here, she slathered it with the red marinara sauce and mozzarella cheese. Let me just point out one more thing here. If you see prep, prep is short for preparation in this sentence. Preparation is a noun. She said with a simple flour, egg, quinoa prep. Here she's talking about preparation. This can also be the short form for prepare. You might say, let's prep for tomorrow's presentation. Let's prepare for tomorrow's presentation. If you scroll down, you'll find the recipe. I think it's delicious. If you want to try making it, then you can tell me what you think. Here is the ingredient list and then the directions. Today we looked at 2 food blogs, but you can use any blogs that you want. If you're interested in fashion, you can check out fashion blogs and practice your reading skills and learn new vocabulary words. You can look at tech blogs or travel blogs, any blogs you want. Read them in English, learn more about whatever topic they're sharing about, and improve your reading skills and your vocabulary skills. I wish you all the best of luck. I hope you learned some great new vocabulary words and phrases to use. You can try and use them by writing sentences and putting them in the comments section, and I'll check your grammar and also see if you use the phrases correctly. Okay, see you next time. Bye.